Back here on HQ Spotlight, some good news for Colorado fans. Two-way star Travis Hunter is expected to be back for the Buffaloes Week 8 in their showdown against Arizona. Hunter exited Saturday's loss to Kansas State with a right shoulder injury in the second quarter and did not return. He played 23 snaps on offense and 21 on defense in the first half against K-State, recording 3 catches for 26 yards plus 1 tackle. Hunter has just been averaging around 120 snaps per game heading into last weekend. So far this season, he has been on the field for 675 snaps, 343 of those on defense. So that's about 51%. He's leading some pundits to say that he'll likely be a defensive backfield player at the next level. All that is future, of course, but for right now, Hunter has the 3rd best odds to win the Heisman behind Boise State's phenom, Ashton Jeanty and Dylan Gabriel. Travis Hunter spoke with 2011 Heisman Trophy winner Robert Griffin III on the Out of Pocket podcast about why he's a better choice than Ashton Jeanty. Take a listen.
Y'all see Ashton Jeanty, but it's not like we haven't seen a running back that's good.
All right.
We haven't seen a player that plays both ways, and I'm going to keep saying that. It's like he have 95 carries?
Yeah.
For
1,000 yards, yeah.
If I had 95 catches, how much yards you think I have?
Okay.
So I'm trying to tell him, like, if I had 95 targets on defense, what you think I'll have?
Right. Oh.
If I had 95 catches on offense, what you think I'll have? So I try to tell you, like, he got double the touches I got on the offensive side of the ball, and I still have defensive stats that's still crazy, and we only in week 6.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to argue about it.
Ooh, Travis Hunter just stirring the pot. I love to see it. I'm here for it. Take a look at the current Heisman Trophy odds as we get set to enter Week 8 of the college football season. You see Boise State's Ashton Jeanty there atop of the odds, and you also see Travis Hunter here with the 4th best odds to run away with the Heisman Trophy. If you're not paying attention now, you should be to Ashton Jeanty. Look at the numbers that he's putting up. This is what he just did last week on CBS against Hawaii. Now we know that a lot of people are going to talk about the opponents, but it is time now to welcome in the president of the Ashton Jeanty fan club, and that is our own Damien Harris, to really tell you what you're looking out for, what you're missing if you're not watching Ashton Jeanty play. Now, first, Damien, before we get into this, I want to get your take on what Travis Hunter said on that podcast. What was your takeaway?
I mean, he's got a good argument. I mean, you can't deny the offensive talent that he is, along with the defensive plays that he makes. I mean, he's making highlight reel plays on both sides of the ball. The stats show it. So I'm not necessarily mad at his argument. Obviously, I'm all for a guy, vouching for himself and making his case for why he should win the Heisman. But at the end of the day, I mean, you said it, I'm the president of the Ashton Jeanty fan club, and this guy is the best player in college football. I'm sorry, he does not play 2 ways. He does only play 1 position. But at the end of the day, when you look at his numbers, I mean, I know we're going to put the numbers up and compare them to past Heisman Trophy winners and Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram, but he's doubling these guys' numbers. I mean, he's on pace to break a record that Barry Sanders set years ago that we thought would never even be touched, never even be thought about. So although I feel Travis, I do. He's got a good case, and he is one of the best players in the country. But Ashton Jeanty, it is his time. He deserves to be in New York, and he deserves that Heisman right now.
All right, let's go ahead and go through some of the comparisons that you just brought up to some of the league's greats. And we're going to start with a fellow Bama boy, and that is Derrick Henry. You actually told me before we went on air that Derrick Henry was actually your road roommate. Is that right? When you guys played on the road? I do not want to put you on the spot and stir the pot any more than we already have on this program.
But you're about to.
I'm about to. And that's because I love you. But is Ashton Jeanty better now than when Derrick Henry was in school? I know. It's a fair argument. I got to ask the tough questions.
Wow. Wow, you really put me on the spot. It's hard to say because they play 2 different styles. I mean, one guy is 6'3", 250-pound freight train, and another guy he's smaller, he's more compact, he's more agile. He's kind of like Mark Ingram's skill set with Reggie Bush's big play capability. So it's hard, but when you look at the numbers, and here's my thing. Everybody always argues about Ashton Jeanty and the level of competition that he's going up against every week. Well, when you look at the numbers, he's got double the amount of rushing yards that Derrick Henry had. He's averaging twice as many yards per carry. He's having 208 rush yards per game. He's got over 17 touchdowns. I mean, if the level of competition was really a factor here, I don't think we would still see him putting up these kind of numbers. I mean, yeah, he's playing against teams that aren't LSU, that aren't Oklahoma, that aren't Texas, but at the end of the day, we have not seen numbers put up like this in decades. So based on the numbers alone, like just based off productivity, I would have to go Ashton Jeanty. I mean, both are great backs. Derrick Henry, obviously the king, he's having a remarkable career in the NFL, but you just can't deny what Ashton Jeanty is doing, and he's doing it in a number of different ways. He's just outrunning people. He's making guys miss in the backfield. He's literally creating on broken plays, and a lot of other great running backs have done that too, but Ashton Jeanty is just doing that at a higher clip than what we've seen in a really long time. I
do apologize in advance if you get any text messages, the group chat, the Bama Boys group chat.
You're going to have everybody mad at me, Jordan.
All right, well, let's talk about a guy that Ashton Jeanty really stacks up physically to, and that's Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram, 5'9", 215 pounds, is exactly what Ashton Jeanty is right now. Is Jeanty maybe better compared to a guy like Mark Ingram?
Yeah, that's definitely like the prototype of what you would want, a guy that you would want to compare him to. I mean, obviously they match each other almost identically in size, speed, the way that they play. They're both physical runners. They can hit the home run with their speed. They're both elusive. They use their tools really well with stiff arms and being able to make guys miss. So he's more of an ideal comparison than Derrick Henry. And that's I'm mad at you, Jordan, because you made me compare Ashton and Derrick, because they are very, very different. But like I said, I would put Ashton Jeanty in the conversation of Mark Ingram's skill set with that Reggie Bush, like anytime, whether it's from the 5, from the 10, from the 50, like he has the ability to score on any given play.
Well, both of those guys, Heisman Trophy winners, we'll see if Jeanty will be able to join that brotherhood. What about other legends of the game? Some of the other names that maybe aren't playing right now, who would you compare him to?
Man, this is a tough question because there's been so many great running backs in college football history. So many guys who win the Heisman. I mean, you look at the Eddie Georges and the Ricky Williams, guys like that just left a dominating presence every time they left the field. I mean, you knew that these were the who's who's and the best athletes on the field every time they touched the ball, every time they stepped on the field. Rashawn Solomon, somebody from 1994, won the Heisman for Colorado. I mean, another good back. He adds to this list of rich history and the running back position in college football. And like I said, he deserves the Heisman, and he deserves to be up there in those Heisman House commercials next to Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram and all those guys. Man, he has put in an incredible body of work so far this season in just 6 or 7 games that we're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some games he hasn't even played the full game, so his stats are still skewed. I mean, we still are like, he could have more. He could still be doing more. So, like I said, there have been a lot of great backs in college football history. And after this season, Ashton Jeanty's name will be etched with all of those greats.
All right, just one more to play off that point that you just made. What would you say to those who disagree with all the points you just made, and their only point is the competition that Boise State and Ashton Jeanty has faced in terms of him not winning the Heisman? What would you say to those people?
Again, I go back to the fact that there have been other great G5 running backs in college football history, but nobody has put up these type of numbers. I mean, Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram, yes, those guys were playing much better competition, but at the end of the day, they were still absolutely and unequivocally the best football players on the field. And then I go back to some of the other G5 guys. I mean, there are a lot of guys that I've seen over the years that have been great, but playing lesser competition, but still have not put up these level of numbers. When you compare his numbers and you actually turn on his tape and watch what he does, I go back to his creativity. A lot of his 60, 70, 80-yard touchdowns aren't because, the offensive line opens up this beautiful hole and he just sprints down the middle of the field completely untouched. Majority of them, he's already broken 3 or 4 tackles in the backfield, and then he goes 60 yards, stiff arming a couple other guys out of the way, showing his speed, showing his tool. I mean, I've said a lot, and I think that I think if you don't want Ashton Jeanty to win, I think that just shows that you just devalue the running back position, and you don't understand how imperative it is to have a guy like that in the backfield, able to run the ball, even be able to pass protect. I mean, I just saw a whole highlight reel of this guy being an absolute stud in pass protection. So what he does, he is the best player in college football. He's the best player for his team. Boise State, they almost beat Oregon. They could be undefeated right now. They're looking at a 12-team playoff berth, and it's all because of Ashton Jeanty. So when I look at him, he is the Heisman.
Oh, wow. I love it. We'll leave it there. Damien Harris, a.k.a. Ashton Jeanty, the president of the Ashton Jeanty fan club. Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm a little scared now to see you on Saturday, but you can watch us on Saturday, 9 a.m. college football pregame. Look at this lineup that we have. It'll be Damien and Brian McFadden, Danny Cannell. I will be there as well. We can't wait to watch what week 8 of the college football season brings us.